It's like rights for national anthem.
Otherwise, thank you so much.
Okay, so 1, 2, ready, go. The truth and justice reign. It's all bound to all. These we count as gain. So down to our truth. Without stay.
I say, let me call her.
Loud. I hope you can hear me online.
She's performing.
Loud enough. Can you hear me? All right. First of all, I'd like to apologize that we are starting over 30 minutes late.
Sorry.
We are deeply sorry about that because we're waiting for some of us to come. And now we hope that has been started and everything is not very fast. Thank you so much for your patience. My name is Adeswa. I am the coordinator for the Food Justice Project. I'm sure you got some news. And I just need to figure out more to introduce ourselves. Let's start from there.
Yeah.
My name is everybody. I'm a reporter at the Chance.
My name is Assistant Editor of Financial.
Is for July, the believe that she was
More about my business. Let me tell you something.
everyone, it is a good sheet. I want to be there. Okay, so just continue. Please, those of us online, can we introduce ourselves? I can see symbol or winner that's can you please introduce yourself? Can you hear me? Can check the chat. Okay, I wanted those online to introduce themselves, but it seems that I don't know whether they're unable to unmute. Please check if they can hear us.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Perewari Itaita, and I'm representing Enough is Enough Nigeria.
All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Simba Olatoriko. I lead programs for the Women in Leadership Advancement Network. Very happy to be here.
Thank you. You know what I said. Please.
Sure, introduce. Please go ahead. Yes.
Please, try again, see so that we can hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't hear me.
We didn't hear you first time.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. My name is Simba Olatoriko. I lead programs for the Women in Leadership Advancement Network. We're based in Lagos. Very happy to be here.
Thank you so much for coming. I'm one of our earliest participants. Thank you so much. Anyway, so we'll just go ahead. And right about now, I would like us to welcome our esteemed Deputy Country Director and Director of Programs, Shuiba Mohammed Dankabo. Just kindly by us and folks, us a welcome remarks. That clap was too small, please. Let's very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me start by apologizing for coming in late. I was held by another critical issue. A process I started with, I cannot do cut short to say, and I need to be there in person. But noticing that this important event is very, very important, and I really am happy that we have been able to find time to be here. And I want to congratulate us for reaching this stage in the process of demanding and collaborating for justice in Nigeria. We all know that the judiciary system is the last one for the police criminals. Action is unapologetically biased to the rights of the people poor and excluded. And the fact is that if you don't elections rights, then the issue of leadership is also at stake. So between this right and get elections right of the leaders for this coalition. So I really want to welcome you humbly Cojar Launch of the coalition of judicial aspects for judicial reforms. That's Cojar. It is a pivotal moment in our collective journey was fostering a more accountable, transparent, and independent judicial system in Nigeria, the judiciary in Nigeria. So allow me to begin by providing some context on action in Nigeria, who is an affiliate of the Global Action Aid Federation with footprints in over 70 countries across the globe as an anti-poverty non-governmental organization. We have been working in Nigeria to combat poverty and injustice for more than 2 decades. Action is currently implementing the citizens-led engagement on judiciary accountability in post-election justice delivery in Nigeria, in justice. It is a citizen-centered and citizen-driven innovation aimed at promoting judicial accountability. As we gather here today for the foundation and launch of Cojar, let us reflect on the unwavering belief in the power of one. Action Aid was founded by the power of one person. So remember the power of one. One person can initiate something that is going to be good for the good of everyone, and then we now follow, achieve this goal, even if the person survives or is alive or not. Cecil Jackson Hole, a British businessman, was brought, who brought friends together to just think of vulnerable children in India and Kenya in 1972. But now the organization is all over the world. Likewise, we believe in the power of every individual here. The power of one voice, one action, and one vision to make a positive change to our justice system, especially in Nigeria. When we combine the individual power that we possess, that is power within, and unite with a shared purpose, we can make a huge impact in our society. What we call power to. In this spirit of solidarity and collaboration, we are honored to establish Cojar under the Quick Justice Movement. This coalition is designed to unite stakeholders and civil societies who are collectively working to advance judicial accountability and drive systemic reforms within Nigeria's justice system. As we launch this coalition today, let us engage in open and strategic dialogue together. We must chart a clear course of action, developing a shared work plan that aligns our efforts and ensures sustainable impacts. Our goal is not only to convene, but to converge, imagine our voices, expertise, and advocacy to strengthen judicial independence in Nigeria. We also hope that by the end of today, each organization here will commit to becoming an active member of Cojar. Are we all together? Are we willing to commit to the active members of Cojar? Let me hear our voices. Yes. Okay, let's say by the rest of God, are we here willingly able to commit our time and then to be part of Cojar positively and actively? By show of hands.
Can we write
Some people are not sure. My sister, are you not sure?
Minister of Information?
Okay, thank you very much. Your active engagement and participation in a coalition is crucial. If we are to build a resilient and responsive justice system that truly serves the people. We also look forward to your recommendations on how we can collectively mobilize citizens, citizen groups, movements to enforce systems that guarantee justice, judicial independence, integrity. At this juncture, I close this remark by affirming that the judiciary is a sacred institution, a pillar of democracy, and the last hope of the common man. Yes, recent events have cast a shadow over its credibility and transparency. This is the trust. In this institution, filters, once then becomes that hope. If this institution filters, what then becomes that hope? It is therefore imperative that we act deliberately and collectively to restore faith in the judiciary and ensure its true independence. As a social justice advocate, I am glad that this project seeks to catalyze long-term and sustained systems of judicial independence in Nigeria. I'm hopeful that Cojar will become a beacon for long-term reform in Nigeria. Thank you all, and I wish us all a fruitful and successful deliberation and a successful launch. Thank you very much.
Let's give another round. Okay, so, okay, so I want to quickly run through the agenda. It's very, very important. Agenda. So, we should end everything at least by 1 o'clock. That's the plan. To project it on the screen. We are trying to save the earth. That's why we are not creating a lot of copies, especially as it is a very short agenda. So, can I mute myself a little? So, so we have the talent, and we've had the welcome, we've actually introduced ourselves, so I'm going to go right into the presentation, which I will be making. And then after that, we'll just run through the objectives of code and Cojar and get your thoughts on what should form TUR and charter. And then there will be a very short plenary discussion after which we'll come up with action plans and close. So like I said, it's a very straight to the point meeting. So let's just go right here. Okay, so my presentation.
Right? So we need to and these should not out all the agencies of government are part of the criticizing, part of the culture. Are we managing and minister of health? But you already have all the answers. God is the part of the project. So you can educate others in what you Our idea is that invest in something.
So,
Because, yes, you are.
justice is an acronym for citizens-led engagement on judicial accountability. You don't have to be sure it will also show. So the citizens-led engagement on judicial accountability post-election judicial delivery in Nigeria is what we have collapsed into what we call complete justice. And this, the major goal for complete justice was to achieve a more accountable post-election justice dispensation in Nigeria through citizens' actions. You know, so you can recall all of the issues that came up after the 2023 elections, especially after the judgment that was delivered from the presidential EPC. And then you also remember the campaigns like Eyes on the Judiciary campaigns. So this project rode on the backs of all of those issues, simply to deliver on this major goal, you know. And we have, the project has been on in the last 18 months. Broken into 12 months, each phase was has been broken into 12 months. And in the first days, you know, when we think it's a lot of assumptions and expectations. One of them was that Nigerians, with all of the noise and the cloud of the social media, so we will start, we are going to just mobilize citizens to come together to hold the child accountable. But nothing prepared us for the stark gap in knowledge that we met in the field. Getting to the field, we realized even some organizations that are supposed to be holding the judiciary accountable didn't seem to know some very basic things like some provisions in the Electoral Act regarding election petition tribunals, you know, when to even go to court, who should go to court, and all of that. So we had to reroute and redirect some of our focus to going to some states. So we went to states like Kano, Lagos, Enugu, Port Harcourt. There was Cross River as well, and in Abuja. You notice that some of these states were ultimate states like Rivers and Lagos. And so we did this extensively for the whole of that, of the 12 months, and even into the second phase. And so far we've been able to build the capacity of 68,407 citizens directly and indirectly on the judicial and electoral system and on judicial accountability. And then one of the first things we also did was to form what is called the technical working group. That's what is the TWG. Yeah. The TWG is made up of now former bench members of the bench. So we have justices from the Court of Appeal, from the Supreme Court, who are now retired. And then we have very respected legal practitioners, and who have done a lot of extensive work in elections and democracy in Nigeria. So they came together and then they identified 7 reform areas that should actually guide the reforms and campaigns we're coming up with for the judicial reforms in Nigeria. Then we also trained 23 judicial correspondents and formed a journalist pool. So that is from that pool that we have some journalists here today in the house. Now, so we did all of that in phase 1, and then in phase 2, the TWG continued to build alliances and is still doing so with judicial institutions and prominent individuals that could help us, push forward the goal, the Chief Justice goal. Now, remember I spoke about a 7-point approach for judicial reforms that the TWG came up with. And so we have it on the screen. And so this approach that's inconsistencies and contradiction in judicial pronouncements, legal technicalities, pressure on judges and corruption in the judiciary, then the poor culture of accepting electoral outcomes, and then the role of citizens. The 7th one, which is not there, was a guide for action in itself in implementing projects. So now, out of these 7, going forward, it was agreed that we'll focus on 2 major points, looking at most of the priorities and some of the issues that have been coming up, which will be pre and post election matters, the inconsistencies and contradictions in judicial pronouncements. Then we also formed a movement called Motion. Motion means Movement for the Transformation of Nigeria. Presently, in action, we have a 10-year strategy, and this strategy is really heavy on social movements to hold the government accountable, to deliver on the promises, they need to deliver on the promises that we have in our institution and as a democratic society. And so we formed Motion, and we're very pleased because one of the major contributors to coming up with Motion and its focus for the next 5 years, some of the things we've done in Chief Justice. And so for the next 5 years, actually it's focusing on ethical accountability. And we have over 2 million members covering over 200 organizations with an agenda to drive accountability, including electoral accountability, as I said, and we are active. Motion is already active, and one of the things that Motion is already doing that is quite visible is advocating for the release of victims of end-back government protests, including participating in first hearing and appearances. Now, why Cojar? What are we doing Cojar? In delivering the Chief Justice project, the technical working group advised that we come up with, a coalition that will formalize and synergize the efforts of stakeholders working in various ways to hold the judiciary accountable. So you will notice that for every organization that invited here, you can see it's such a small crowd because we selected organizations that have been actively working to the judiciary in various ways, especially around reforms, and also to organize and mobilize citizens. So you notice that you have a lot to do in this sector. I know we don't like to talk about it, but in the CSO space, we like working in silos. So you can get invited for one meeting. I think I was invited for one yesterday. The very same thing that they were discussing yesterday is the same thing we're going to discuss today. And I'm sure you that are looking at me, you are also planning another event that are the same thing. They're going to invite me and I'll come next week. We want to see how we can synergize our efforts. We want to stop, shooting blanks. Because it's the same stakeholders we are inviting that I'm inviting. How about we find a way to come up with, I'm not saying you won't do your activities, but come up with a way that we can have a joint agenda as CSOs that are continuously doing this. And then when you have your strength to take from it, where I'm not doing well, you find the bridge of what you are doing well like that. And before you know it, I have to judiciary begins to take us even much more serious. So that is why Cojar is being formed today. Just very strategic point. And this aligns with one of the Chief Justice project objectives, which is to support citizen and citizen group actions that will promote accountability of the judges and lawyers towards dispensing justice in the electoral cases. You know, when we are talking about citizen and citizen groups, sometimes we don't remember ourselves because we're always planning for others. This is one of the ways we're going to be doing that, and we are very happy to have you with us. And want to see because of like Cojar. Should translate to more courageous citizens who are going to come out, who are even knowledgeable about this. So that is why we are here in Russia. Thank you very much for listening. I hope that when Surya was asking how many of us want to join Cojar, we're not sure. Like, I hope they are sure now. It's not a secret call for anything. We are just what I would do and thank you so much. So now we're entering a very interactive session. Yeah. But just to say again, distinguished ladies and gentlemen and learned colleagues, I really want to say that we so many things in Nigeria, knowledge having to share. People have been denied, justice has been denied several times. Not just delayed, and then the judge will delay until the period of is not over. I know that they are seeing some correction, some goodness. But how is it that how change this process? Make sure that Nigerians how people that you say that I have a system like I report my case, or if I feel like I probably go there and have smile in my face. I was discussing with somebody in the first. The people better better go to the family to report their case than to report it to the police go to court. So handing over the rights of the individual that the system that people are hired to be paid for and that they are supposed to work for us. Look at the placement of the security system in all the police are assigned to which people, policy makers, and so on. General citizens are left to give. The police is not, the security is not there, the justice is not there. So what is the benefit? You and I know the amount of taxes that we pay to the government. So what is happening? The education system, not the water system, and see government busy is in the offering and the issue of contracts, which many people who are issuing the contracts are also beneficiaries. I don't have the facts to present here. But the fact is that we need to do something different. Not business as usual. So that we can say, yes, okay, after the individual work there, as individual organizations, we have supposed to be together, have a conversation while maintaining our independence identity. But yes, we have one voice that if we start, even if there's somebody going to want to arrest or something, there is no one to arrest. They have to critical mass that's people. Ladies and gentlemen, that lady of indulgence, and this is what I want to do. And then it's not our own. It's now the whole process belongs to the coalition. And that's why we're saying it's going to be citizen driven. The member of the technical committee is here, Sesha, and we know that people who have worked with this sector for a very long time. Let us bring our ideas, our goals together, and together make a accountable judicial system. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you so much. So now, we would like to hear from you very quickly. Even though it's difficult, but I would like us to just preempt what should be on that in terms of reference.
How can we define?
Just that the hall is big, that doesn't be close. So, it's fine. Okay, once again, it's on ground. I want to actually commend you for coming up with this coalition. It's a very good one. Especially on judicial accountability. We know as, okay, don't let me assume. In Nigeria 2025, one of the greatest, or should I say, what should be on the state of emergency is actually judicial accountability. Because I've been a digital rights lawyer for a long time, I decided to come up with this initiative, civic initiative. And one of the things we are doing this year is also judicial accountability. And one way we are addressing it is by building the capacity of judges. So I believe that the coalition should think about the capacity building aspects of judges. I know that there's this mindset that we may have that they know, but sometimes I can tell you that you do not know. I had a partnership in January with trained some judges on digital rights, and the expressions, their feedback really told me that we have a lot of work to do. If you want the judges to understand the technical part of the society, I want to put it that way, technical part of the society. Now, why did I say that? When this amendment to the Electoral Act was going to be passed, I was with my brother who has passed now. We do international assembly, keep doing shouting, making noise and all that. We want the 2020 Act passed. We went to INEC, we did a lot of protests, demonstrations, black story, and all that. Because we wanted that IVAS, IRM, and all to be adopted. Now we now see the use of that particular provision in 2023, and we are now seeing the way politicians think. And now we also have an idea of what the role of INEC, is in all of this. So I think that it's a good way. It's maybe right now we should start with that capacity building of judges in respect of what BVAS should look like. What is a citizen's perspective of what does the citizen expect from the use of BVAS? What do they expect when you're talking about I do you understand? I think this is very instructive, considering that we are people that are started anyways. I was going to say that 2027 is about tomorrow. It's a good one. Thank you so much for sharing. Please can we keep my around about this? The objective that we have, training judges should be part of it. Okay. So let's just read some things here so that it can also help the conversation. So some of the objectives we have here is to deepen the outcomes and impacts of citizen groups and CSOs toward reinforced systems of judicial independence on electoral processes. Promote transparency by advocating that judicial proceedings, appointments, and decisions are transparent and open to public scrutiny to prevent corruption or bias in the judiciary. Advocate for judicial independence and transparency, especially in view of political interference, to ensure that judges can make impartial decisions without undue influence from other branches of government or powerful individuals. Then we also have things like strengthening judicial accountability mechanisms by pushing for the improvement of systems that monitor the judicial conduct, such as disciplinary bodies or oversight committees to investigate cases of misconduct. What other thing should be? There is calling out corruption in the judiciary already, monitoring and reporting judicial performance, lobbying for judicial reforms. What's the second one? Is good morning.
So for me, I feel like many people have the damage. I believe it's a huge issue that how natural I think that objects also outline that how the drivers of the journey go back again. Maybe we had the big driver we need to identify to help us to help us to feel going to pursue the objectives because of the approach to enforcement and we are licensed so no, I think that's basically what I'm trying to say.
You have this 7-point recommendation. In fact, we get free materials. Yeah, so if you go through, those are 7 points in detail. So just look at it very briefly. Marissa Central is one of the TWG members. Yes. So, do you want to say something? Maybe you can share the mind of the technical people.
So the way the action itself, a lot of their cases are then we can see that that's the house of the might confusing. Some just see it out of place. For instance, we had the judgments that are getting from your status. SARS, those one of the House of Assembly, National Assembly. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court now set the record. Now, the effect of that, the final court for petition and permitting from House of Assembly and National Assembly meant that those that were sat don't have any remedy. So you remember an obvious injustice to them. But then if you can follow the case, you now know that you now agree that that judgment shouldn't have been called in the first place. So that's why we now believe that our judge is still in some form of light, so more training. And then the judgment was a direct conflict from past societies. That's why the Supreme Court expressed surprise. Assuming jurisdiction on this matter because it was seen as the election matter, which should have come up in the election tribunal. How we now go back to this and seeing improvement women have brought back the current president into the race. After he went to the first primaries for president and lost, went back to collect his ticket. Through most of that it's been the primaries for that much, but magically he still went back. So that ground the court so that was how he was able to get back. The similar case is the one of Lawan also, who also lost out, but the other party didn't get it. And went to court and the court did its thing. So some of these things, after we study this, some of those cases, we are also told and it's kind of close to the house over that. What the court may say, yes, our decision was based on judicial, but we can't stop us when it was too technical, and we are so technical that we lost the vibe of the case that we look at and say, yes, justice has been done in this case. Because the common man on the street will not hear this scenario and agree that justice has been done. It doesn't just seem right. So those are some of the things that are really, really disturbing. Then the presidential election tribunal judgment, and also a lot of contradictions that were contained when compared to past judgments from the competition. And we now and that was how we came about this. While that was going on, we discovered that the problem was not just only the electoral commission, but it's the judicial as a whole. Because the problem is there. It's just a judicial problem, not just election. I think the only part that maybe you see more prominent in the election is to influence for politicians when it comes to election. But all other things we found out is just special as well. And I think that's why when the chief of the as a reform the beats and has expanded its scope. Also, but then just trying to mention because as a result of some of these things, several discussions we had on the process and the possible recommendation that come up with these 7 points, which for us. So I think here, if you look at this, I feel there are other points that we need to push this, the whole aim and objective of this, then it's also help us. But just to add, when you mention those initial points, not only to create awareness of corruption, but to also empower investigation of allegation of corruption. But most times we just hear the allegations and even those that want to do something can't get it because there is no evidence if actually there was corruption or money and exchange and so on.
Thank you very much. We're very kind with our class and no. Yes, I'll still give you the mic. Then if you also thank you so much, Barrister Central, because I know I didn't tell you before, but you did very well. And telling us the mind of TWG as this was, and it took a lot of time and energy and efforts to bring up this. You will notice also that we have sections and provisions from the Electoral Act, and recommendations were made on some changes, especially around the sanctions. So there are some ridiculous sanctions in the Electoral Act that will not be to any politician. For instance, I know before, so look at the first one, no voter shall have more than one valid voter's card. And what is the fine? Not more than 500,000 naira. Or not more than 1 year old. How many people have gone to jail for having 2 PVCs? We know that some people have more than 1 PVC. And 500,000 naira is nothing to anybody now in politics who wants to vote with 10 PVCs actually. So one of the conditions there is just disqualify the party from that election for that, party or persons doing that. So you could go through all of those provisions because we found some of the provisions very ridiculous, incapable of stopping any form of corruption. Yeah, fine.
What should they do? What can they do? You know how government reacts to so what ways you and other civil society ways to support citizens engagement? I would also like to know how many.
Thank you so much. Very good question. What can we do to support citizen groups? During my presentation, I shared some, and we're already making plans to contribute to some of the things that a lot of social movement groups are doing going forward. So as we keep inviting you, we keep telling you, then the Cojar is just being from today. So we're happy that you're here so that you can even bring in some comments that will make up the building blocks for what we should focus on as a coalition. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Right now,
No, we have nine positions here present. There were 2 online, and we send positions to more. So hopefully we should have more than this. But we're very happy at the number because the first time we closed, there's only 4 positions came up. Remember when I was throwing shades at CSOs when we started? Now we like silo, you know. Whether I don't know whether when we come together to work to reduce the number of meetings or the number of activities that we like to go for, I don't know. You understand why I hope that we change and find a way to come together so that the impact of our work can. So, thank you for that.
It's happening now that it's complicated. Every organization already pay their budget and all that, so they have to pay. Yes, that's
We know they are trying to do something very audacious, but we are going to just keep putting the axe on the tree. At some point, we get to it.
yes. So I wanted to mention on these provisions of that electoral act. I can tell you freely that it wasn't what we were canvassing for that we now have as the last as what you have now as the electoral act. So that's the reality in Nigeria that we see a lot of times. You put stringent, there are sometimes you put stringent penalties. When they get to it may just be because of one section 2 that they will refuse to pass that act. So at that point in time, I knew we were going back and forth to INEC to have a conversation with INEC why we wanted particular provisions inserted. So I just wanted you to have an idea that even with these recommendations, be short. If this will not adopt, but it's good that we're having them. Yes.
Thank you. Those from these recommendations, you know it will take years, but we have just started. Somebody has to start it.
Yes.
I just wanted to respond to a question. I think one of the questions you raised about the Cojar said something about with when people go to process currently get arrested and all. It's important for us to understand the aspects of the motion that you explained. Motion is a movement of movements, easy action for the clamp down and the individuals involved. So that's why motion is a movement of different movements and have lots of bodies inside them. And some of the organizations that are in the movement currently, some movements in the movement, I can give an example of Hope Behind Bars that has lawyers currently across the states in Nigeria to ensure that when someone is clamped down, there's a lawyer in that state immediately to go and respond and bring the person out of prison. So, like, it's strategically cut across for different movements. So it's also important that even the movements of the news agencies should be there. When a member of the media is there, when a member of the Cojar is being clamped down or held behind in some ways, the media as well could raise their voices. So the essence is that all voices are coming together to ensure that one person is not hit down and then all of us just walk and start going with as the norm is. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Just to add also, I was happy recently now that very news that one of the recommendations to the patient has been on somebody was our recommendation that education matters for I just said I need to pass the second week national assembly. That's because I think it's just straightens what we're doing here. That the more we bring pressure on this thing, who's agreement we want, before we want to organize everything because we know that as long as you allow elected officials to respond, and then you allow them to examine the outcome of the election, which is a very important thing. The fact was it's not possible for not to control this presidential election. I don't agree with this, but it has never happened. So I believe if there's no change, then it will definitely happen. But I think it will be easier if that person is not sworn into office yet. And then the election cases are very to Supreme Court.
Thank you so much. And we, like you said, that's a huge plus for us. And I hope that you I see that because we actually took these recommendations to the NJC, the NJI, National Assembly. I even to the House of Reps, everywhere people can pass it for it. And you know that the Constitution is being reviewed. Yes. Yes, I think it has been on for years. But we also ensure that this also got there as well. So let's not give up. That's why we are calling for this change. Just before we get to see the picture and see how we can plug it. However, does anybody else want to say something? Right? We are trying to. Is there something we are missing that we should be talking about that we are glossing over? Way that we are. Who is the person here for black? How about Kenya? Right. Okay. So it seems that we have a pretty good TRL coming up, which I'm going to share. I'm going to share that. I'm going to share that through our emails to see what we people with all that we have said. And the reason why I'm really asking you to say something is because I know each of us have been doing a lot of work, and just so that we don't miss out on what you believe should be in that material or charter, as we call it. Okay, so we're doing very well with time. Very, very well with time. So at this point, I would like to introduce somebody very important. And your club is very fast. Please help me welcome her because she's my line manager. And it's an appraisal issue. So join me to welcome Judith Wagiti. So let's have a clap for you now. He's going to take us through a plenary discussion on the action plan going forward, because we don't just want to have a meeting and go away. We want something that will be one thing that are going to agree to do. And we're not going to leave here, we'll give out those timelines on which we deliver on them. But let's actually see that it gets done. Yes. Please let's clap for she's coming.
So, the sense of this session, she has mentioned that we just want to have some action points, some key things. Yes, sorry, podium. All right. So one of the essence of us coming here and sharing it to our head is so that there is participation. We don't want a situation. I think that's one of the other problems we find out with even with dealing either with the government or with other people is that we develop the plan and then we dash it out and then there's no ownership at the end of it. The essence of this is for us to have our ownership. And this one was asking me if we should split in groups or we should come up together, we should all draw something together. Do we have that flip chart? Okay, so what really do we want to do after this so that we can all work together? So that next time when I'm coming to your office, I remember you were there, remember. Now you talk up. I'm joking, not mind. All right, so we can I don't know. Do we have an idea what actually we really want to do from the beginning? Okay, so yes. Looking at the faces of your guys in front of me, they have been doing like this since but what's going to root. All right. Wow, that was a big chat. I think the internet is still relevant. So it's like I'll just go around to all of us rooms. For instance, do we start from you? Yeah. They've done enough work. And that's why I'm sitting towards this area. Any idea? It's like we need to start afresh again. Let me start with people that I know very, very good. We said it. DGCB. So we're actually trying to draft like a work plan, what we think that as a coalition we can do together. Yeah, which I think is very, very vital. I have a lot of things in my head, but I don't want to say it. No, I don't. I will not say it. No, people. We could start with the advocacy aspect of the topic. So now and so you can start with maybe advocacy on social media platforms. If it's possible, you know, well, the good thing is that action is so they have the money and so they're changing. So I'm not even reach money side. I don't know, but then I'm getting you know now, social media. It's a less than that. And that can start like already now. So who are we advocating to? Who are we advocating to? Is to also get this information is for individuals. Yes, I actually get that it's consistent. Let them know that it's something called Cojar, that this is all about accountability towards the election. So one thing I need to also state here is that if care is not about, there's not a lot of advocacy. You would find out that in 2027 there will be a lot of electoral voting. It's very, very foreseeable. There was something that happened in 2023 that had not happened in a while. We saw a lot of youth. Very, very interested. In fact, I was holding my what they call that is fully put like I don't see because I was so invested in election. I've never been like that. So I'm just saying that it may not occur. So to avoid that, one of the things we need to do is that
And this be because and say, okay, this time around, we are having organizations that we need to stand out and actually hold the judiciary accountable.
We all know that. So I believe this is a lot of the I think that we have some. I don't know what just find what happened. When we start with the one where we decide over
What's government is suggesting is that since we're focusing first of all on the two objectives, we should have objective one, number one. But first of all, we should even have activity. Then the next thing should be timeline, yeah. And of course, the responsible person on this.
So before we put that together, you want to know exactly what we want to achieve.
Oh, yeah, okay. So you have to take away and change the layout. Okay, so how to we have started. Then yes, so timeline here.
Those are the ones we do,
Okay. Well, where am I already?
you can be joined that.
Yeah. Indicator. So the good thing about advocacy, one thing that the hijack helps us to relax the first inaugural meeting. Remember that I called her. I was asking a question. You didn't know I was asking a question. I was in that because we're trying to we're trying to write out positions, and when we are through the media, we got a lot of possibility traction actually. A lot of media agencies picked it up, even I picked it up. They called us to arise, like we got a lot of traction, the essence of visibility, and then people say asking questions, questions, how can we participate just by that visibility that we got from that from the hijack itself. People were asking questions, how can we join, how can we do it? Some people even asking us, send us, but like this is not the answers. To be honest, like on YouTube, the views on Arise on YouTube, it's just shut up and people, like people were asking said that so that's actually the importance of visibility. Thank you. So this slide now, I think here the first objective, you would merge here together and put the first objective there. The second row. Merge up the whole row and then put the objective there.
So for this number one also involves who got scientists and
because we want to be working with it. Not look at the objective, but what can we do to achieve this? Yeah, out of it, should never focus on it.
On the family, marriage,
This is of course it's still small, it's not. This one has binding and screen.
So,
Uh,
on the angle of.
All right. So pre and post election matters.
What,
Pre and post election matters. So we are still doing our advocacy here on pre and post election matters. Okay. What will be our output? What will be our output? Do we do a little bit introduction of that output, outcome, indicator, so that we will understand what we are trying to do there. So when I'm looking at these things, we all like food. So let's say we are going to do what soup do you want to cook now? Egusi soup. Okay, fine. So what will be egusi soup? When you say indicators, your indicators to prepare the egusi soup will be from your house, maybe from here. We're going to buy the things in the same market. So our first indicator will be the gates of destination hotel. The next indicator will be that traffic lights. The other one could be Use Bridge and then Use Gate. Those are indicators telling you that you are heading towards where you will use to get the egusi soup. Then the other one will be the the activity itself. The activity now is your list of things you want to buy in the market, from the vegetables to the egusi to the maggi to everything. Your list, those are the activities. Then your outcome is when you get back, you cooking the food that is ready. The egusi soup is your outcome. I hope I'm not, I've not missed any step. Sorry, output, sorry. Your output, so the output should come before the outcome. Sorry, your output. Then your outcome is when you are finished eating and you are satisfied, when your belly don't feel. That's your outcome. So I don't know, we're on the same page. Do you understand the whole activity output, outcome, and indicators now? It's really like we are just have to, we are just have Muna and okay. All right, welcome, sir. So now that we have this basic understanding, so we said advocacy. So what we want to do to get our output in terms of the advocacy.
So I will be just some of these scripts that was in the book on our social media and the book. So it's just to let you know that I'm living down now. It's the same number of times so my house and I didn't go out like that. So really don't have a problem. That's good. I'm feeling very down. So this comic script so one talks about what you think. So it's something my what do you think is that they have instead of
What's going
another song was very
so those other ones will be because that material they call it your output.
So
about radio program. Social media. as in your
Even if
activities,
what they call.
yeah, I said that nice material I see them.
Okay.
So the radio program and TV program, social media, that's under your activities. Under
Yeah.
yes. Your INC materials. Yeah.
So let's think that very, very strategic.
Imagine this is now, our.
So that's the engagement, like for instance, we have a post. When they are sharing this, they are packing all those kind. Very original. I think we should have civic education, something around there. Yes. Because it's also going to give young people, women, different. Yes.
Not thinking of the one that we already have access to them. For instance, very limited programs, your child already has worked up like 50 slots with channels. And give us time.
But if we guys here, they can commit also part of their.
So they are quiet, like you say.
They can give you the
Slot.
yeah.
So you're all together, you're all together.
All right. So we can feel as much as we can, and maybe when we get back, people that are more technical in them and we look at it again, then we'll share with the whole group again. Let's put in some things, and then let experts go and refine, and then we send back. But let's have it. So I think we've done just let's not put out the time, and I think it happened for now. What's the timeline for this possibility? Okay, so and she said that making timeline for that you can yes.
That's right, yeah. Okay. So you are starting today till forever. You not be hearing nonsense. Right. Did you see me as you don't know that it's correct. And that's our work. It's correct. I think it comes out. Put our lack of responsibility. Shall we?
Ya ba wa aiki da damar yin aure
Please let's welcome the country director
da muka koma
of accountability.
tsarin rayuwa rashin 25 na wannan ya ba mu mutane masu dama da aiki kowace kiwon lafiya.
So I can give this my back.
Sau da haka su iyaye wato mazaje haƙƙin mata ne a kansu matansu masu yanzu sai haƙƙin ne a kansu bisa ta ne sashi
Yeah, I think that can work with you.
sai mutum da ke wani haihuwa duk a lokacin da su kuma duk irin da ba a su sannan bisa wannan kuɗi sashi na 25 da haƙƙi ne a kan gwamnati da ma'aikatan kiwon lafiya su ba wa mutane masu samun bayani ta hanyar da suke fata na su fahimta.
Okay. Yeah, we're not hearing from you. This second, we're not hearing from you. I'm happy that I know. So I'll just be calling the door of the organization so that you can be very that you are representing people. India has been very silent. Are you there? So, okay, trying to say something. Are you past the mic? I don't mind the number. We see it so we breaking silence. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vanessa Onimwa, the program manager at E-Center. So, of course, we love the work you're doing. Many of the industry have done excellent work. Because we also do a lot of work around advocacy, policy change. So I think the good strategy, to break it down into smaller nuggets, and maybe a specific things to put in. So that's not a very arrangement. So the so there are specific things that are very interesting as an organization. For example, we have something like wider agenda for general electoral reform. That's a more targeted strategy. This action.
Okay, great. So I like what you just said. So we are getting a lot of work around gender, and we have with civic education as part of one of our priorities. Is it possible to put this sector as so what can this center help us like help the coalition do for women and girls in terms of civic education between now and June?
Some of that into our wider advocacy. We already have, we're advocating for the gender seat reservation law, which is trying to include women in the it's called classification process. We're trying to achieve all seats. Yes, there's some which part of that will add also contributed for those seats. But the reason why this presentation has filled up this event is because it was a very significant day for the times to take this. For example, the seats in the Senate, take one and so that the 60 members who participate, they really want to cover this. So have a big step. And once again, that analysis shows that the value that women bring is is forever positive. So yes, we kind of for this tradition of collaborating with various
so what can happen can be that there has to be education, we have a curriculum that we can invite us to present it, or we just send it to you, like, do it, or I think that they are coalition, or we'll talk about that, so I'll put your name there. Is there any other thing? You can't cry, because I'm giving you work, sorry. If you don't think like this, we won't get it done. So, plaque, I should be in there. Exactly, fine. You guys launched an analysis yesterday of PPT judgments. It's very big, I was there. So yeah. You've not said anything since we started. Let's just get your thoughts.
So
you see, you know we are doing the responsibility according to what you can do, because it's like you said, they already have requirements stuff, and we are committed to even support IOP, not even whether with slides and all, we'll send it to you, and ensure that all of us are able to represent the needs.
Since we only have some
Okay, so yeah, trying to understand, so you're saying that, you know, these things we are doing, we could share some of the IC materials and then post them, yes, and then maybe during your. So how should I how to now on that supposed to like, just tell me how you want me to write it so that
it could be supportable so on the purpose as well.
And I can always reach out to you for now.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Who else? Okay, you have not folded your hands. API is too silent. We welcome our other member accountability lab. Can you just pass the mic to him? He hasn't said anything. No, they have. The people pledge to do something.
I saw the letter like 2 minutes. I sent it to again. I'll see you in my dreams. Thanks for this. I think I was just saying to Muna, like it's very important to have some of this coalition operates very, very active and meaningful ways that will deliver provisions that we all have. I mean, we can't all do this continuing, right? So I think let's find ways to continue our efforts to really change. I'm not following up, but again, if you want to fight, just fight the law. We can realize young people to engage effectively offline. So I'm not sure where we fall into, but like Bushid must have mentioned,
And this is just for pre and post election, then inconsistent judgments, inconsistencies in judgments and expected others. So now, this five parties said, and we're very interested. One of the things that a lot of young people have issues with is those inconsistencies. Yeah. What can we do to fight, to push back? So today, one judge is saying that this is how we should come. This should come by relating support for diseases. Then the next is Supreme Court will just come and say no. You should have come some, I don't know, in some different way. So how, and it's really making, I don't know how law students are coping. Because yes, because it's changing.
No, they will come because what they are being told is what will come out when you come out. I can tell you what to talk.
No, but you know that as the cases keep changing, like now there are a lot of things they taught us that I don't even know what the law is now. Because it has changed, because all these frivolous judgments.
Them that old.
So how do we fight back on giving that?
I mean, I see two things. I think I will also say that to the issue. I'm not sure if that will again. There are a couple of engagements in that's basically showing problem in those schools. And again, there needs to be constant engagement with them. I don't want to call it training. I don't want to even call it education, because sometimes, so what we have learned in the lab is you have all of this sensitization training and education, but at the end of the day, people don't put the energy into taking action. So for us, it's still training, but we call it more like a real-time, some sort of real-time training where you come into a real life situation and make people deliberate on those issues, and at the end of the day, make their own suggestions on what will happen. So it's a practical scenario for training where people come up with actions like we have to do it, which means at the end of the day, we have to step out. There should be some sort of advocacy, offline, online. I know judges might not be accessible, but again, can they run online campaigns? How effective would that be? If we have to go on radio to talk about this, create more awareness, it makes more sense. But again, it's just ensuring that they are part of the process, they are engaged in ways that goes beyond not just a strategy meeting, but how do you commit them from even law school? In real life, what do you call it? Theory is not practice, but theory in school is different. But how do you bring them into the real life situation? For me, I would suggest with some of the strategies we have them on two of them that are active. Yeah, you can put them for 1 2 years, then you go out. Yeah, it doesn't come from.
Yeah, okay, so I like this. I like initially what we had from the IRAC. Go to schools. That would be, but to have to bring them here to another conversation. So we going to meet them, bringing them. It's going to bring them out.
Yeah.
So how can?
Not easy to touch them.
But there's this in law school, sorry.
I'm
There's in law school, who stops shading us?
It's an environment which they have been going for lectures, but I mean, bring them out of that space. Yeah, no, I mean exposure as well.
So how can accountability lab help us drive that? So the thing is, for all of these things, happening is going to, everybody should support, because the truth is, we're going to have everybody's logos on it. We're going to ensure that everybody who is here today, that is if you want to join, we would definitely say it's a joint effort, and also, like we already started giving ourselves responsibilities. So how can
Is this restricted to the federal? So we currently run a digital rights program on freedom of expression program. Basically, we are having some visits to some national. Next week we'll be in Plateau State, and we'll be meeting with journalists as well as music artists. I mean, one of the things we try as much as possible to pride ourselves in not the regular journalists in society. But again, you need to go out of the ordinary to get people more interested in the conversation. Now, the conversation can be so technical that some people don't feel interested, which is all of this post-selection. Some people don't even care, like, but when you bring it down to the level, the music artists need to understand how they can form a part of this conversation. So we're having this meeting, again, forgive me, not in AC room, but I mean, you're also having it in rooms where I can decide to have it for people to come and feel just feel relaxed and talk about this issue. So those are the kind of strategies to engage all of these people. We're having a couple of meetings or something, but I can give you how we can do this more.
Yes. I don't, yeah, I don't see what I can do. What's it to me? So are you so this is how it's like give to you, or you give materials, or what will you need for us? When is this meeting? And is this something we can come for? Yeah. Yeah, what is it? It's not that having things.
It's close for again.
Because doing those civic engagement is really very simple, very, very simple. We have people come into the room with so much apathy, but they leave very enlightened and also they're up for it. Yes. So what?
I mean, you can have the materials at the end of the day.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Paul, like I said, we are trying to although some solution can themselves. Okay, like what is what like I said, house so for me, I see that I have its own responsibility from one office institution to another. The part of telling them about and also in on one side. I'm also lawyer, as lawyer. And then lawyers. Because if frivolous judgment was filed by a lawyer, so I think also we can also have this maybe the NDA to do something on that. For me, we have for my branch of actually compare. So what can do is about filing, about not filing frivolous action, frivolous petitions that, because a judge will not give, a judge can only rule on what was before him. So we cannot go out of what is not before him. So if we can also advocate that area, fine. Yes.
You understand, those 5 or 10 minutes of the branch. I told MP, but it was just wise.
Well, I can talk about Buhari branch, not the national assembly. They are planning for programs, so most of them will be.
I need to just say something for just for information. I'm a member of the electoral reforms committee. So I'm the only one who was servicing. Yeah, that is the alternative. It's a coach. I'll be speaking. I'll support this online. Let me see what you said again. Okay, so by just mentioned the fact that we can begin into this project discussion, and I also agree with you. And I said I'm a member of the NPA. In fact, I maybe a member of that committee of protection, that's all. But I think maybe it's so good that is happening. I will not be the chair of that committee. And then talk to the secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association. So yes, on how we can get projects to get into different groups. Like I can even talk for Unity Bank. Come to my chairperson. I'm sorry, chairman of Unity Bank. It's well with this for please advocate. And advocate student, advocacy is in two places now. It's not here and post and it's not that inconsistent. Okay. So what of them? I think it's a responsibility. It's also, apart from that, there are also other packages. On that advocacy, right? That's always it. Somebody said, there's sound, but it is not food. Okay, that's the online person. Yes. So for the advocacy, we are talking about we say, no, talk visits and to NBA and its branches. But you know, because that those guys have been together with electoral, you know, these people that know, you know, one day you buy him, one there is the chair of that is we know that what they want, all of those lawyers that file those applications. That's the kind of application now. It's not the one that said that we're making too much noise as women on this national notice. So it's a bit tricky to that work.
So I'm saying in next few months, you will see why I'm going to report finding the election. This one is about this party, that one is another, and the whole positive will. And at the end of the day, it is also the individual that suffer the supporters of this candidates, which actually also should if there is policy, what is right.
Okay, so, yes, is there, fine,
So, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Forms and extra participation. So, and we are having our own program for North Central this month. So we could also take some of these IAC materials to that program to disseminate to youth, because I feel like our key audience in this thing is youth. So we could do that as well. For the social media, we we have a calendar. We have social media calendar for the project I talked about. So we could incorporate some of these recommendations. And in fact, the first one, this election, the one that this election is one of the reforms we are pushing, right, as well. So we could also incorporate that and the other one that talks about currently, the one you talked about, the inconsistency. Yeah. So we could also incorporate that in our calendar to push out. Sorry, I can KDI
So KDI to push the reforms and recommendations on social media.
Yeah. Yes.
And then to disseminate IEC materials to youth at civic education program.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Perfect.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Clean, anything?
Okay, for us in Clean, our primary focus is on promoting public safety and security through empirical research, legislative advocacy, demonstration of programs and publication. But in respect of this subject matter, which I believe is on election, and I know our sorry, please, you help.
Doesn't have to. Don't be what's it called, by election. Remember we said whatever affects the normal judicial delivery of justice affects election in the long run. So don't be boxed.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. So under the Mercator funded project of Clean Foundation, we are part of the civil society organizations that are pushing for the effective implementation of the administration of criminal justice system in Nigeria.
Yeah.
When it was passed in 2015 by Goodluck Jonathan, part of the challenges that we had then was the domestication. Then when we pushed for the domestication, another challenge was the implementation, because we've discovered that the institutions within the criminal justice system are not knowledgeable of this law, you know, and there was need for it to be implemented. So, but how will you implement when you are not knowledgeable? So, institutional, we in Clean Foundation, we made efforts to train and retrain individuals within the criminal justice system. And the key stakeholders that we invited were the Ministry of Justice, the NBA, the ACGMC. You know what ACGMC? That's Administration of Criminal Justice Monitoring Committee, of which I believe will be key in this. I'm among the stakeholders that we are going to conduct advocacy visit with, and also sharing of material. So these are people that we put together to talk about the issue, and we train them on their different roles towards the effective implementation of ACGMC in the state.
Okay.
So I am thinking, with respect to this, we can.
Sorry, please, Barrister, search up. There's something to key into. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I am thinking that ACGMC can play a key role in form of sensitizing key stakeholders on this pre-election and post-election issues, and how it will impact on the state. So it's important we engage with them. So for Clean Foundation, we can actually play a role in that. We can actually write to them and see how we can engage them. Then also, if there's need for us to share whatever materials that we have on this project, we can share with them so that they can disseminate in their in their state. So, and we know that individuals that make up this ACGMC, we have the Ministry of Justice, we have CSOs, we have the police in charge of legal. Then we also have other key stakeholders in the state, so we can actually engage with them and see for these initiatives to be successful. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Sorry, thank you. I wanted to ask Barrister Sechap, from what he said, is there any other thing that we can take advantage of for Cojar? Because regarding the criminal justice, please, can you give him the mic?
While he was making his point, I was just trying to think of how we could unite or marry what we are doing in a clip and election pre and post election matters with Administration of Criminal Justice Act. My mind was going towards maybe the punishment, but then except maybe just to get more people to create awareness to their own aim. I think it's totally different from what we are doing here, because they are more concerned about how to ensure that criminal matters are where there's justice delivery in criminal matters, timely conclusion of criminal matters to ensure that detainees are not detained beyond the constitutional requirements, prisons are not congested and all that.
Yeah,
which is a bit different from.
Yeah, but remember that we're also evolving to encompass the whole of
exactly.
So it's not,
yeah.
we're getting to a point where it's not just elections.
On that ground, that means we have everything to do with them, because if
we have
it's
everything
on our broader objectives, yes, of course, ensuring the proper applicability of AGJA will really go a long way in helping develop our other objectives.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm just trying to say that beyond elections, we are even working towards just doing, as in working on judicial reforms as a whole. So that's why I say don't feel boxed by post pre-election matters. It can go beyond that. Okay, Christian Aid. You interestingly, you said a lot, but you've not committed to. No, the reason why we are doing it like this is Okay. Okay, you need the mic. Oh, please, can you give him the mic? Is there?
Okay, so I didn't commit fully because we don't have any ongoing projects around electoral reforms, but we have partners working in that direction. And that was even going to bring me to a question around the mapping for participation on this coalition. I don't know if it's going to be possible to send in the lists of, persons you've reached out to so that we can look through and see if there are people that are missing out that need to be in this. One of those groups that comes to mind is the transition monitoring group, right? Yeah. So the TMG and a host of others. I think when we have that list, we can always contribute to that. But I'll also reach out to some of the partners we're working with to see how they can come in on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do you have any civic engagement, any civic education, civic engagement project or program? Because the truth is that the ignorance is wide. Seriously wide. You have people, yes, there is consciousness, there's political consciousness, but there is like wide ignorance. So people are conscious based on nothing. Yes. So if that is even the main thing we can even reduce, we would have done very well as a coalition.
Was saying something about social media online. My thoughts will be that the Muna also mentioned the stakeholder mapping. In my head, I'm just thinking, who are the beneficiaries of all of these things, or who are our target audience? Basically, we thought about our own thinking at Accountability Lab is on social media, you could reach young people, but again, it's still sometimes if you calculate the number of people you reach, it's just scroll and pass. So we try as much as possible to also go on radio. TV is expensive, but radio, we have like radio programs running in like 9 states at the moment. So it depends on your timing. It depends on the timing of which you have the program running. People listen because, again, the target will be that, like you mentioned, the awareness is low. You need to target people at the grassroots. The grassroots people have no other thing than to listen to radio. So if you target a good radio station at the subnational level, then you're able to reach some of those people who are at the grassroots. So that's our own personal thinking compared to social media.
Okay. So I'm asking the whole of Cojar now, from A Center to Plaque to Clean to KDI to Christian Aid, CISLAC. Okay, nice. And then DG Civic, Accountability Lab, and CELSA. What should the target be? What should our target be? Is it only young people?
It's everybody.
So the whole of society. Many people, is that going to be correct for?
So I think it's at the point of engagement that you decide, the nature of your audience, and then you tailor your message.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to mention, I told them audience.
So each of the activities, we should break it down into target people. Okay. Okay, so I think Judith. So I want to propose that we run this action plan. Please, Perry online, is there something you like to add? We kept asking for you to introduce yourself and contribute, but it seems you couldn't hear us. Then I can see another participant, Global Platform Youth. Wait, let me check. Collaboration. So maybe you can write your recommendations, please. So can I propose that we run this action plan for the next 6 months and then we come back and see how we fared? And then I'll call out anybody that does not respond to my emails, anybody that does not. Eh? Don't worry, just leave it to me. Yes, I'll tell Judith, she'll appear in your dreams. So, so let me just quickly run through it very quickly. For the next 6 months, we talked about the major thing we really want to do is visibility and advocacy. And under visibility, we are really heavy on radio, TV programs, social media, and then civic education to target various groups of people. And I like the advice to have a specific target for each of the planned activities. We've said we'll do IEC materials. Yes, Zach. Please come and familiarize with Moji. Yes, with Moji, because we've agreed that we will develop IEC materials like flyers, pictures, and all. Yes, and it is written here, Zach to work with DG Civic, to create these materials, which is supposed to be rolling out by next week. In fact, this week. And then A Center says that there is a civic education for women and girls that we can plug in. What is there a date for it yet? Okay, so I'll keep in touch. Then plaque to support in terms of visibility. I'll also meet you to just like explain how that works. Then KDI to push reforms and recommendations on social media. So is it that you want us to put all of this in materials that you can just push, or you will do it yourself? Okay. So we'll just, okay, nice. Plan. Okay. All right. And then that you disseminate some of these IEC materials to youth at your program. Then Clean spoke of the ACGMC to sensitize stakeholders on the effects of pre and post election matters. Would you need any resources from us to, so like which you let me know. And then Accountability Lab spoke about a digital rights program and that there's a meeting next week Wednesday. Oh wow. And that Moji will go and we'll take some of these things with us. And then Celsa is to set us up with MBA, and then we'll have pep talk visits with the MBA, and Moji is also part of that. Then you've also asked me to send out all the people that we have, all the organizations that we have reached out to see if there are people that are not there that should be there. I think that if we do this for the next 6 months, then we'll call another meeting again to review. And please, if anything comes up that you believe Cojar should be part of, please don't hesitate. Like I said, we're heavily into social movement now as an organization, Action Aid. So when you're thinking, and so what, who will drive it, just think Action Aid. All right, thank you so much, Judith. Judith, please, closing remarks. Okay, yes. Please, the mic. Yeah, that would be great. Please, can we give him the mic? No, somebody's online. And if you don't use the mic, they can't hear you.
So I'm just thinking if we can develop policy briefs from this I guess this is a report, right? Or
yes,
develop policy briefs and targets during our advocacy. I don't know if we are targeting to visit policymakers and those are the National Assembly, because I know we have Chairman, Senate Committee, and House Committee on Judiciary.
Yes, you came in after I said that all of these recommendations, we even sent it to them. Yes.
Okay, that.
We went there to present it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's just what came to my mind.
All right. Thank you. And I hope we can also call us if there are any advocacy meetings. So, like we get a meeting with the CJN and co, we can call us to attend, right? All right. Thank you so much. Judith, over to you. Yeah, closing remarks and thanks. Yes, people do closing remarks.
How did they say it? On behalf of, I actually don't like all those serious meetings. They are tiring. On behalf of, don't mind me. All right, thank you so much for coming. I wish I could call everybody's name, but I think I'll call the ones I can call, then I'll call the organizations I can call to replace the names I don't know, but at least I know the organizations from Plaque. That's NA, yeah? Plaque, right? Aha. I tried though. How is Aku? It's fine. All right. So I didn't get animal organization. Oh, to Blueprint, to Clean, KDI, all of us. I just want to say a huge thank you. Thank you, Honorable Country Director of Accountability Lab. Thank you, the Executive Director of DG Civic. Thank you, Honorable Na and Barrister Setchap, and also of course the Honorable First Lady of ACE. Thank you. All right. I think we have tea break outside. Oh, sorry. My team that are on the Clip Justice Project, that is Adesua and Oyin. Thank you so much to my comms guy, although he abandoned me and came later on. Zach and Kure. Thank you as well. Oh, hi, online. Pere, thank you as well. Global Platform Youth Coalition. Thank you as well. Adesua Ewaulua. Don't mind me, I'm down serious. Picture.